Good evening. This is a regularly scheduled meeting, Kettering City Council. Today's date is July the 13th, and as always, we'll begin with a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we begin tonight's meeting, we'll start with a brief invocation. Dear Lord, thank you for all who serve the Kettering community. Give us enthusiasm for our work and wisdom to make the right decisions. May we remain humble and grateful for the opportunity to lead. Guide this council so we may continue to serve our citizens with integrity and purpose, always remembering to be worthy of these responsibilities entrusted in us by our residents. Next, we'll move on to approval of the minutes, June 22nd, 2021, council and workshop minutes. Mr. Lauder.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have reviewed both the minutes from the council meeting and the workshop from June 22nd. I find them in order and therefore move for their approval.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Being none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Lauder?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mayor Patterson?
Yes. Moving on to presentations and proclamations. First one, Dayton Region Intern Appreciation Week. Vice Mayor Klepass.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a proclamation this evening. Whereas there are hundreds of interns working in many different industry sectors throughout the summer in the Dayton region, and whereas companies in the Dayton region rely on interns over the summer months to help contribute to organizational missions, and whereas the Dayton region is thankful to all interns who come to work for various communities throughout the summer months. And whereas the Dayton region is excited to showcase amenities across the region to potential new employees contemplating a position within the region, and whereas the Dayton region looks forward to interns returning to our communities once they have graduated from school. Now, therefore, Donald E. Patterson, Mayor of the City of Kettering, Ohio, on behalf of City Council and the community, hereby proclaims July 12th through the 16th of 2021 to be Dayton Region Intern Appreciation Week in the City of Kettering, Ohio, and on behalf of the members of City Council and City Administration and the citizens of the community, do hereby express our appreciation to all the interns who serve the Kettering community. Signed the 13th day of July in the year 2021, Donald E. Patterson, Mayor of the City of Kettering, Ohio.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Klepass. Next, we have a proclamation for Joe Wanamaker Day. Mr. Lauder.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a proclamation. Whereas Joe Wanamaker began his public service career in 1959 as a light equipment operator for the City of Kettering, and whereas Joe's passion for people and humble demeanor have been felt throughout our community for more than 62 years, and whereas under Joe's tenure as street maintenance director for the City of Kettering, residents became introduced to quality services, including the mulch and compost program, which Kettering residents still enjoy today. And whereas Joe is the only Kettering employee to have ever worked for every city manager and all city council members since Kettering has been named a city. And whereas after retiring from the city in 2003, Joe was elected to serve the residents of District 2 in 2004, where he advocated for the betterment of the Kettering community for 17 years. And whereas Joe has shown us the true meaning of being a public servant, and the Kettering community will truly miss his leadership. Now, therefore, Donald E. Patterson, Mayor of the City of Kettering, Ohio, on behalf of City Council and the community, does hereby proclaim today, July 13th, 2021, to be Joe Wanamaker Day. In the City of Kettering, Ohio, and on behalf of the City Council, the City Administration, and the residents of Kettering, would like to commend Joe Wanamaker for his exemplary service and devotion to the Kettering community, and offer our sincere best wishes for a bright and rewarding future filled with good health and happiness. Signed, Donald E. Patterson, Mayor of the City of Kettering, Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Lauder. And accepting the proclamation tonight for Joe Wanamaker is his son, Mike.
Thank you very much this evening. My father, Joe Wanamaker, cannot be here this evening, so I'm here to accept this wonderful proclamation. I don't know how many folks have ever been honored with their own personal day in the city of Kettering.
How many?
I'll certainly remember this for the rest of my life. Ever since I can remember, my father was very proud to be a servant of the city of Kettering. He shined the light forward to me to do similar services at Washington Township. And I know that he has always enjoyed the staff and being a councilman and serving the districts and the innovative services and the things that the city of Kettering have introduced over the years really makes it one of the finest cities in the nation, let alone Ohio. I remember as a child all the events that we would go to, and my father was a part of that, and I certainly would like to thank you. He really appreciates being honored to be on the council and be with the city of Kettering all these years, and he'd like to tell everybody that the future looks bright, and he really appreciates all the staff and the folks that he's worked with. So thank you very much this evening.
Mike, thank you. It was our pleasure to get to work with your father for those years. Personally, mine's been 24 years. Bruce is in the 30s, and Joe was always a bright star, had positive things to say. And he just plain loved this community. So, I have one thing. His nameplate that he had up here for all this time. I don't think Judy will let him put it on the front door. Okay.
That's awesome.
All righty. Next, we'll move on to a public hearing. Tonight, we have a public hearing on a recommendation of the Planning Commission to vacate a portion of the right-of-way at the corner of Wilmington Pike and Brownlee Roads. The Planning Commission's certification packet is made part of the record. First, city staff will make a presentation. After the presentation, we will take comments for or against the proposed vacation from those members of the public who are present tonight and wish to be heard. Now I will open the public hearing. First, we will begin with a staff present. Do we have to swear anybody in, Ted, or anything?
No, Your Honor, not for
Perfect.
this hearing. Thank you.
Then we'll go ahead and begin with staff's presentation. Mr. Bergstresser.
Thank you, Your Honor. First off, just for the record, my credentials, I'm Steve Bergstresser. I'm the Assistant City Manager and City Engineer for the City of Kettering. Been the City Engineer since 2006 and the Assistant City Manager since 2014. This evening, we have a very simple matter before you. I apologize, there's not a rendering of the area up on your screen, but just to describe what we're talking about this evening, staff is recommending, and also Planning Commission is recommending, the vacation of a small strip of public right-of-way at the northeast corner of Brownlee Drive and Wilmington Pike. This is the opposite corner of the Speedway station that's located at that intersection, just for point of reference. The city has been in discussions with a potential buyer of an adjacent property, and as part of a potential redevelopment project, a small strip of right-of-way needs to be vacated in order to align the existing right-of-way and along with the proposed right-of-way. So that's why we're here this evening, to hear conduct a public hearing on the vacation of the right-of-way. Planning Commission heard the same hearing. They recommended the vacation, and staff recommends the vacation as well. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Bergstresser? Next, we'll move on to comments by the public. Anyone wishing to speak as a proponent, please step up at this time. Any opponents? Being none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and City Council will consider legislation regarding this matter at a future meeting. Next, we'll move on to public comment on legislation. Anyone wishing to speak before council with comments or new information about legislation on tonight's agenda may do so at this time. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Speakers must state their name and address. Comments should be addressed to council. If you have comments that are not about the legislation on tonight's agenda, there will be an opportunity for those to be heard later in the meeting. Is there anyone that wants to speak on legislation on tonight's agenda? Okay, next we'll move on to ordinances in second reading. We have none this evening, so we'll go to resolutions. Begin with Vice Mayor Klepass.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution to accept the resignation of Council Member Joseph D. Wanamaker and to declare the District 2 Council seat vacant. It's requested by the Council Office. I move for approval.
Second.
Sorry, I didn't have my cheat sheet out there. I'm sure it's you. Mr. Schwedeman.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd just like to say it's been my honor to be one of the 6 city managers in the history of the city of Kettering to work with Mr. Wanamaker. I have no further comments.
Any questions of Mr. Schwedeman? Being none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Klepass.
Yes.
Mr. Lauder.
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Duke.
Yes.
Mayor Patterson.
Reluctantly, yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the purchase of road salt through an approved state or local cooperative purchasing program. The estimated cost is $312,400. The amount budgeted, $180,000. It's being requested by our Public Service Department. I move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Schwedeman.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution would allow us to purchase 5,500 tons of road salt for the 2021-2022 winter season. The price per ton will be $56.80 as established by a competitive bid process by the Southwestern Ohio Purchasers for Government program that went out and received bids in 2020 for both the previous winter and this winter. And this year's price again would be $56.80 a ton. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Schwedeman? Being none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Lauder.
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Duke.
Yes.
Mr. Klepass.
Yes.
Mayor Patterson.
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a cost-sharing agreement with the Board of Education of the Kettering City School District for the Safety Section Program for the 2021 and 2022 school year. And it is requested by the Engineering Department, and I move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Bergstresser.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution will authorize the city to enter into an agreement with the school board to share in the cost of maintaining our adult crossing guard program at designated intersections and school zones around the city. Now, this service is part of the Kettering Safe Routes to School program to provide designated Kettering elementary schools with safe crossings of major thoroughfares. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Bergstresser? Being none, call the roll, please.
Mrs. Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Duke.
Yes.
Mr. Klepass.
Yes.
Mr. Lauder.
Yes.
Mayor Patterson.
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution dedicating parcel 4WD of the Kettering Traffic Signal Replacement Phase 3 project, city project number 02-005D, ODOT project MOD Kettering Signals Phase 3 PID number 105950 as permanent right-of-way requested by the Engineering Department. I move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Bergstresser.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution will dedicate a very small portion of property located at the southeast corner of East David Road and Marshall Road that is currently owned by the city, also known as Ireland Park. This dedication is needed in order to clear the right-of-way for the project. Currently, construction is scheduled to bid in early 2022 and with construction taking place thereafter. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Bergstresser? Being none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mr. Kleipas?
Yes.
Mr. Lauder?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mayor Patterson?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into agreements with the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, to allow the city of Kettering to serve as responsible lead agency for administration of the Kettering Traffic Signal Replacements Phase 4 project, City Project Number 02-005E, ODOT Project MOT, Kettering Signals Phase 4, PID 115201. Requested by the Engineering Department to move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Bergstresser.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is another traffic signal replacement project that was recently awarded funding through MVRPC to the tune of about $1.3 million in congestion mitigation and air quality improvement funds. The proposed project will replace existing span wire signals at 5 intersections with new mast arm signals. Those intersections include Research Boulevard and County Line Road, Research Boulevard and Founders Drive, Woodman Drive and Vale Drive, Dorothy Lane and Woodman Center Drive, and Wilmington Pike, and the east entrance from Meyer onto Wilmington. The project is scheduled to bid in spring of 2025. The total estimated cost of the project is about $1.8 million, which includes engineering right-of-way and construction. And as I mentioned, we did receive approximately $1.3 million in congestion mitigation money through the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission for this project. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Bergstresser? Being none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Kleipas?
Yes.
Mr. Lauder?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mayor Patterson?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution declaring as surplus and approving a contract to sell approximately 3.4 acres, more or less, of city-owned property in Research Park. This is being requested by the city manager's office, and I move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Schwederman.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution involves a potential development project at the Miami Valley Research Park. The land in question would be additional land for the Resonetics operation at Research Park. Currently, the contract for sale of land has reduced the acreage to approximately 2.3 acres at $55,000 per acre. This would allow them to double the size of their footprint, as well as to increase the number of employees at the operation. So we're very excited about this opportunity and look forward to closing on the land transaction with Resonetics. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Schwederman? Being none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Lauder?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mr. Kleipas?
Yes.
Mayor Patterson?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to accept a grant funds from the Ohio Department of Public Safety, Ohio Division of EMS. It is estimated cost of $2,765.56 with none budgeted, and it is requested by the fire department, and I move for approval.
Second.
Chief Robbins.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution will allow the fire department to accept the Priority 1 grant through the Ohio Department of Public Safety. This grant is awarded to those fire departments who successfully report certain EMS criteria to the state of Ohio. This grant may be used for EMS training or equipment, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of the chief? Being none, call the roll, please.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mr. Kleipas?
Yes.
Mr. Lauder?
Yes.
Mayor Patterson?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution to amend resolution number 10573-21, estimated cost $158,436, amount budgeted $80,000, requested by the engineering department. I move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Bergstresser.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution will authorize additional funds to be paid to the Ohio Department of Transportation for a resurfacing project on two portions of State Route 835 in the Research Park area of Kettering, one section on Woodman Drive north of Research Boulevard, and another section on Research Boulevard north of the County Line Road and Shakertown intersection, all within the city of Kettering. The subject resolution authorized the city manager to enter into a final agreement with ODOT based on the pre-bid estimated costs. ODOT has since opened bids on the project, and the bids came in over budget. So this resolution will authorize the city manager to pay an additional $34,632 to ODOT to cover the increase in local our Kettering project costs. There's also a supplemental appropriation next on your agenda to coordinate with this resolution to record the full cost of the resurfacing and repair program, resurfacing and pavement repairs. Be happy to answer any questions, and I cannot speak this evening. I apologize.
Any questions of Mr. Bergstresser? Being none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mr. Kleepass?
Yes.
Mr. Lauder?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mayor Patterson?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Kettering, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021. The estimated cost is $393,365.56. It's requested by the Finance Department. I move for approval.
Second.
Friedman.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a 2021 supplemental appropriation. The majority of the appropriation relates to resolution number 9, as just discussed by Mr. Bergstresser. It also appropriates the funds for the EMS grant. An additional item of the appropriation is to appropriate $72,600 for personnel services related to the recently approved union agreement with our Kettering Public Service Union, Local 101. As you know, in 2021, we budgeted for a wage increase of 0%. The contract resulted in an increase for 2021 of 2.5%. That's additional funding of $53,700 for our street maintenance fund and $18,900 for our Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Fund. The increases for our vehicle maintenance center employees at $9,300 and our facilities at $33,500 are not appropriated as those are internal service funds. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Sweeterman? Being none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Kleepass?
Yes.
Mr. Lauder?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mayor Patterson?
Yes. Moving on to ordinances in first reading, we have none. Certifications and petitions. Ms. Kozinski.
Your Honor, we do not have any certifications or petitions this evening.
Thank you. City Manager report and community update. Mr. Sweeterman.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have a few items for you this evening, and the first is just a reminder that we are having a phrase season. It starts next week. On the screen tonight, you'll see some of our shows for August. Just encourage our residents and visitors to go to phrase.com or etix.com to find available tickets for our upcoming shows. Highlighted tonight are Shinedown, Happy Together, and Foreigner. The Rosewood Gallery Book Club on Monday, July 19th. You can join the Rosewood Gallery and Dayton Metro Libraries in a discussion about a current book featuring arts. The July's book is Collector's Apprentice. If you have any questions about the activity, you can contact the Rosewood Arts Center or check out the Dayton Metro Libraries site. Our Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Department will be hosting Movie Under the Stars. It'll be Saturday, July 31st at 8 p.m. at Delco Park. You can tune to the Kettering app or the Facebook page for more information. We're continuing to accept Neighborhood Pride applications. You can learn more about that by contacting our volunteer office at 296-2433. And we are accepting applications now, and we'll have the nominations and awards from City Council later in September. Your Honor, the last item I have for you tonight is a update on a City of Kettering property that we will be bringing forward to City Council at a future council meeting to declare surplus to enter into a sales agreement. The map you see on the screen is a map of what we refer to as Fire Station on Tate Road. Tate Road is also adjacent to our park there. And although a little hard to see on the screen, but you can see that we've carved out a lot that contains the fire department building as well as the adjacent hillside. We were approached by a potential buyer and for the fire station and the hillside. At that time, we received or went out for appraisals and negotiated a final price with the buyer. So we anticipate bringing that forward to you. We do not know the buyer's intended purpose at this time, and any change in zoning request or use would come forward through that rezoning process. The buyer that I've been mentioning is Kettering Health. I'd be happy to answer any questions on that topic for you this evening if you have any, or on any other topics presented tonight.
Any questions of Mr. Schwederman? Next, we'll move on to audience participation point in program. If you'd like to come speak before council, please come on down to the podium. We do have a 5-minute limit, and we ask you to give us your name and address. Anyone like to speak? From this vast crowd? Being none, we'll move on to council committee reports. Begin with Vice Mayor Klepass.
Thank you, Your Honor. Since our last council meeting, we've had a couple ribbon cuttings in the city. One that I was able to attend was on the 28th of June at Giovino's Pizza Store over on Stroop at Far Hills and Stroop in the shopping center there. It's the second location now for this pizza company in the Dayton region. So we want to make sure that in keeping with the spirit of things and Shop in Kettering to support Giovino's, but also other small businesses in Kettering. And the other thing, that same day, I'm sure the mayor might mention this, we went over to the Kettering Fire Department headquarters. There was several things that took place, starting with a new hire. Then there was a series of several promotions, and then an award for the Firefighter of the Year award. So thank you, Chief, for having that event. It was well attended with a lot of folks there that enjoyed that. And then lastly, I hope many of you had the chance, like we did, to get over to Delco Park on July 4th. Large crowd, great fireworks display, and great job once again by the city, and thank you for that work. That's all I have.
Mr. Lauder.
Just one comment. I would simply echo Councilman Klepass's comments about Go Forth. Very fun evening. Weather cooperated. It was hot, but that's supposed to be as hot as a firecracker on the 4th of July. So that's all.
I think it was our best display. I think it was our best display this year for whatever reason. The ground, it was awesome. Anyway, it's been a busy few weeks. I've had 8 different things, and I will recommend the chicken. And even though it's a pizza place, I recommend the chicken. Best of luck to your dad. Good health. I promise if Joe's watching, I'm bringing him cookies this week. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Mr. Duke.
Mrs. Fisher stole my thunder on the chicken. It is very good chicken, even though it's a pizza place. A couple of things. The Kettering Leadership Academy class is full. We are finishing up interviews. We've got, it'll be a full class for this year. It'll be in person. Should be very exciting. We start in September. Yes, Go Forth was amazing. I was lucky to have my grandkids here from California, and they have never seen fireworks like that. And I must say the persons around us watching this all kind of agreed, I think this was the best fireworks show I have ever seen in this community. It was, I mean, there were like 4 grand finales. It was just amazing. And the grandkids' eyes still are open. Saying goodbye to Joe. Mike, thanks for coming and accepting that proclamation. You know, 62 years, Joe and I used to kid a lot longest on council and all that sort of silly stuff. And I got to tell you, 62 years in public service, I don't believe that record will ever be broken in this community. As I said a couple weeks ago, Joe was the only person that worked with everybody in this community, and he's going to be sorely missed. Anyway, please give him our best, and same to Judy. Thanks.
Thank you. His gratitude goes to you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. First of all, welcome to Rob Scott, Clerk of Courts, Kettering Clerk of Courts here. Rob, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Mr. Klepas talked about the fire department swearing in. That's always a good time, and I enjoy that. And thank you for having us participate in that. On the 30th of June, I had the opportunity to tape a little tape for Fred Mancher, who was being honored as Dayton Business, or inducted in the Dayton Business Hall of Fame, which dinner was last Thursday night. So congratulations to Fred Mancher on being inducted in that. There were 5 individuals. Can't remember who all of them were, but Marty Grunder was one. Marion's Pizza, Marion Glass was one of them, and Fred and somebody else. So congratulations to Fred. I was honored to be one of the 4 people that got to speak about Fred and talk about our relationship with the city of Kettering and a private partnership that we have. So on the 30th of June, also attended, along with a number of council members and staff, the Kettering Nutrition ribbon cutting on Wilmington Pike. It's a new business over there across from Beavertown Elementary School there. So we wish them the best of luck and thank them for thinking about Kettering and choosing Kettering. We talked about the Go Forth celebration, and I was a little bummed knowing that it wasn't going to be a high type fireworks, thinking that it wasn't going to be any good because they aren't allowed to shoot them up as high because it disperses too far. But if that was a low show and whatever, that was one heck of a fireworks demonstration. And much like Bruce, I wasn't sure, because after 15 minutes they had one, I thought, that's it, that's the finale. And then it just kept going on. And that finale was spectacular. It really was. And I look forward to being there next year. In his email to our group here today, Joe directed it to us and his love of Kettering and the residents. He thanked us for what we did, did for him. Just to say that he was an individual that was selfless individual, and I look forward to many more years of friendship with Joe. And I'm grateful for his service, and Joe is one of a kind. And so thank your father. I sent him back, as I'm sure a number of council people did, a response to his email that he sent us. And we will miss Joe, but I know Joe won't be a stranger either. So I wish him and Judy the best of luck. I really want to see if you get away with putting his name on the front door. So if you would let me know what happens with that, I would be eternally grateful. So with that, if there's no other business to come before us, our next regularly scheduled meeting is July 27th. And with that, we stand adjourned.